So now I've been through the process of posing, and we started off with this this kind of A pose here, and very quickly we've been able to establish a couple or more poses that we can then bring into Marvelous Designer, and basically you'll see shortly, but we can almost animate the simulation using these morph targets. So I have a number here. I created about 8, I think, in total, and these will provide a bit of variety for simulation, and we can use these different poses for a kind of different effect. So for instance, we've got this kind of like attitude shot down here where he's got his head kind of lifted, and he's maybe trying to intimidate someone. We've got another one here where he's kind of like maybe walking towards the camera, and he could either be pointing. I haven't obviously rigged up the hand and posed that properly, but maybe he's holding a gun and threatening someone. There's another one here, and he's kind of a little more dynamic. Maybe he's kind of like shifting for a weapon underneath his jacket. And yeah, just a couple of others. Nothing too crazy. If none of these poses are working, I can always go back and very easily create some new poses. But out of this lot, I'm going to kind of try simming with a few of these. Maybe it's this kind of like gangster pose where he's got his arm out and he's holding his gun, obviously sideways as you do. And I've got a kind of good batch of material to work with. And I've also actually, you'll see in some of the content in the extras, but I've created some sort of like props. So I've got this kind of like gun here, this like little SMG that I've created, and I've used pretty much all the same techniques that I've covered in the kind of main body and the kind of refining of the sculpt. And similarly, I have this kind of sword, very, very primitive, and very easily I've kind of created this object. Super simple, it didn't take long. Again, this is kind of covered in the extras section. And finally, we've got this kind of like little stack of balls. Not sure exactly what they are, but maybe it's this kind of they could be explosives or something. But the idea being that I can create some kind of bag for this character, and these items can be seen maybe within an opening in the bag, and it also will provide something that I can wrap fabric around within Marvelous Designer. So now I've got all these assets, I can start creating my base clothing for my avatar, and I'm going to be using this A pose as my kind of base. And from that, we're going to run the sim, and we're going to import these morph targets as we see fit, and we're going to get some really interesting results.